start at Stamford Bridge with Chelsea versus Manchester United. It's been quite a week for United, and with emotions high, we've sought some wise counsel. Time for a Match of the Day debut from Radio 1's Dr. Rada.
Thomas, I guess you're thinking, how did we not win that game?
This can happen in football, and unfortunately it happened now twice to us. It was the same story against Burnley. I'm absolutely happy with the performance, the effort and the quality of the game from us. And unfortunately we scored 2 goals, but one on each side.
Slightly disappointed, to be honest, going ahead in the game. We came here to win the game. We tried to win the game. That was our intent, and we understood it was going to be a tough one. You know, obviously in a good moment, Chelsea, and playing well, and momentum's with him, confidence is with him.
It's been great. I think it's not easy, not an easy job for him. He just put the team together. I think we are now very together, like a proper team, compact, be together in the tough moments, and this is what we did today.
If your time in this caretaker position is 2 games and it's a win in Villarreal and a draw at Chelsea, you're pretty proud of that, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's been a decent couple of games. It's been mixed feelings in some ways, because obviously I shouldn't be here if things had gone as we wanted. I can't get away from that. But yeah, of course, the 2 games have been 2 massive games, really.
There's been some suggestion that Ralf Rangnick might have played some part in team selection or tactics today. Do you want to just clarify that for us?
No, that's not the case, no.
Well, Michael can the game, but I suppose those stats suggest different, because Chelsea totally dominated the game. I suppose, Ian, coming into this one, the question was always going to be, how are Manchester United going to get something out of this well-oiled Chelsea team?
Well, I thought that they'd have to be tight. Chelsea are playing well. They'd have to deny space. They'd have to stop those wing-backs. They've been criticised because of their pressing and lack of organisation in their pressing, but I thought they got it right today in the way they've done it, and they've done it consistently. You could see them here. Once they've gone, you could see the people behind Wan-Bissaka. You could see Matic, who I thought today for Man United, I know McTominay got it, was man of the match. You see Telles getting across, and this was kind of all game. It wasn't like, Man United has started this well and they've done. This was all game, and they got them in a little trap here, and they won the ball. This is the problem. What Man United had is that once they won it, they didn't really progress it as well as they could have. But here it is again, good press, forcing them in. Wan-Bissaka coming out with Alonso, denying them space, denying denying Chelsea the kind of time and space that they would need. Somebody like a Jorginho would want on the ball. This was a fantastic bit of play from them. Look at the energy, intensity. This is a fantastic finish, man. Bam, bam. Look at his little body swirl. There it is.
The little legs there.
Yeah, there it is. Look, and then, the finish. It was very good. And then the second half, Man United, they didn't stop. And like I say, it's very strange to see Man United doing it, and doing it so well, and doing it so consistently. And if they can carry on doing this, then they're going to cause teams problems simply because of what they've got in offence. Now, this was the second shot on target, apart from Jadon Sancho's. I'm not sure what more he could have done, because he didn't get much off of him, but that was the second shot on target. But Man United got to get credit for the way they approached that game today.
And I suppose you just mentioned him as well, and one player that you thought was a standout player in that United team was Scott McTominay, Alan.
Yeah, what he obviously worked on in the last few days is that you're never going to completely stop Chelsea's wing-backs getting forward and getting into good positions, but what you've got to try and do is you've got to try and reduce the number of times they get in behind you. And part of his job today was to help out into to get into that position and sometimes make that third centre back up. And the reason he's doing that is because of this. So he's saying to Wan-Bissaka, you go and get Alonso and I'll get Hudson-Odoi. Now, Chelsea are brilliant at switch and play, as we know, and getting those wing-backs in. So they look down that avenue, there's nothing there. So they then go down the right-hand side. There's McTominay in there again. Watch the way he just shuffles over. He shoves Wan-Bissaka over. So there you go. You go and get Hudson-Odoi. And again, I'll sit on Alonso in there. So Chelsea are probing and they're trying to get in there. And because of McTominay's position, there's actually literally no way through there, and they go again to the other side and off they go. Second half, similar sort of thing. Now it's Matic's turn down this left-hand side, but just have a look at McTominay in there as well, just in case they try to switch the play. There's Matic dropping in there again, helping the centre-halves out. And Man United knew that they had to defend, and defend very well today if they were going to get something out of the game. They had a little bit of luck, but I think at times they deserved it because of the way they set up and how it worked for them.
How can we, just a quick one, go from talking about Manchester United looking so unorganised to being so well drilled against this Chelsea
Well,
team?
I said a few days ago, maybe a week or two ago, that the players had stopped running for Ollie, and that was the case. There's just gone in there, whatever he said has worked, whatever he's been doing on the training ground, and the players have responded to that, and they've responded to a new voice.
Yeah, well, Ian, Chelsea did find a way through from the penalty spot. Definite penalty?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's unfortunate, Wan-Bissaka. I thought he had a pretty good game himself today, but he just doesn't see him there. He's just going to clear the ball. He's got his eyes on the ball. He's going to clear the ball, and Thiago Silva's feet, it just gets there first, and it's a penalty. Yeah, it might feel soft.
Brave for Jorginho to step up and take it?
I think so. I think he shows a lot of bottle taking that, mistaking the game, miss for Italy, and he scored that one. It was one that he had to score as well.
Yeah, I suppose another talking point coming into this game was whether Lukaku would start against his former team. Timo Werner, on the pitch, attempted more shots than any other player during his time on the pitch. 6, none on target. Not his day?
Not his day. He hasn't had enough days in the blue shirt of Chelsea. When you look at his record before he came to the Premier League with Leipzig, you would think with those goals, 21, 13, 16 and 28 in the 4 previous years before coming here, you'd think there's a bit of a natural goal scorer in there. But there's not. And the reason why he's not is because he should actually get into so many good goal scoring positions, because he trains with Reece James every day and plays with him every week. We watch Reece James. We know exactly what he's good at. We know what he's going to do, and we know he's going to get the ball into the box because of the quality. He should do that. Get in there, and he'll find himself that he'll have a tap in. Now, and we were sat screaming at the television this afternoon, myself and Wright, exactly the same thing again with Ziyech. Ziyech gets into the good position. If he moves into that position 4 or 5 yards out, he gets a tap in. And a complete and utter lack of movement, and he makes everything look far more difficult than it should be. Watch the way he tries to come around it, right the way around it, to hit it with him and spend hours and hours and hours on the training ground to improve his movement. Then you'll see those goal numbers massively improve.
Right, you were actually saying throughout that game, Lukaku, you wanted him to be on the pitch sooner.
I did, Alex, because I believe that if he starts that game, or if he plays a longer period in that game, he scores, simply because of his movement and the fact that he's going to take those chances. Chelsea looked like Chelsea of last season. They get to a certain level and they weren't finishing. That's what happened today, and they needed Lukaku.
And they lead the race by a point. Philosophical there, Thomas Tuchel. As you alluded to earlier, Glenn, he's very happy with the way the team played.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think it was slightly raggled inside. He put on a brave face there. But over the last 2 games, they drew against Burnley and they only got the point there. But listen, watching that game, they could have been 5 up in the first 20 minutes. So his performance-wise, he's quite pleased with the way the team have set up, the desire that they've had, the passion, the winning the ball back as well. He was right. We're expecting, looking at that Man United, they were going to counter. And with a bit of pace, with Rashford, maybe Sancho, and they never had a chance, really, in that first half. They were totally dominated. They give a goal away, but they've responded. So from his point of view, he's thinking, well, we went 1-0 down as well. We responded, and in the end, they were hanging on, and we could have easily won with Rudiger's finish.
Is that the difference you were alluding to? He's basically saying that if we keep playing like that, that's fine, we'll win a lot of games.
I think Lukaku's a big difference to him. They need to get him fit and keep him fit. If they get him fit, keep him fit, if he can play the rest of the games this season, they're going to have a great I really didn't fancy Chelsea at the start of the season. I'm not sure why looking now, because look at that coach, the way he speaks, the way he coaches his team, they're well drilled, they're confident, everyone knows what they're doing. They're just lacking, the last couple of weeks especially, they just lacked a centre forward. I think Werner, he's really struggled for me. He doesn't look like a natural centre forward. I'm not quite sure what he is. I'm not quite sure he's good enough for Chelsea. But Lukaku coming into this team, they've got a great chance of winning the league.
It's incredible, Michael. We talked about Jorginho last season being the top scorer in the Premier League with 7. As we sit here now, Reece James is top scorer in the Premier League with 4.
Yeah, it's incredible, and they were all penalties, weren't they, the last season?
Yeah, 6 of them, I think, yeah.
So, well, Scholes's right. If Lukaku plays every game, then you can bet your bottom dollar that he's going to blitz through that. He'll be well into double figures. So if they can get him fit, then there's a natural source of goals that will be a regular source of goals as well. They look a well-oiled machine. You know, Man City, Liverpool, of course, they can run right against anyone, but they look like a well-oiled machine, as I say. Tuchel is just a phenomenal manager. I love listening to him.
Don't you?
So informative, explains everything really well. Yeah, Chelsea are there to stay. I think they're going to be certainly there. Come May, we're going to be still arguing who's going to win the league.
Do you think, with these three teams there at the moment, this could be one of the most exciting title races in years?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, it's three class horses that have got to the top of this table, and City could easily win it. Liverpool are good enough to win it. I think Chelsea are consistent enough to win it. So yeah, it's the thing with Chelsea. Not many teams in the history of 17 players have scored for them. 17 players, different players have scored. Now, if Lukaku does start scoring, on top of that, you've got to have a chance, haven't you?
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for today. 4 games, one of course called off, and it ends with Chelsea top of the league. In fact, those 3 horses that Glenn was talking about separated by just 2 points. We love the Premier League, don't we? See you next week.
With a very defensive team, however you look at it, I think it's a brilliant result. His second game in charge, a lot of pressure on him. I think what he's done is a big positive.
And that will be good for their confidence, surely.
It should be. You know, I think we all know from the outside, and obviously the players, know there's going to be a change. There's going to have new money next week, different ideas to try and propel the club forward. So Michael being in charge for the last couple of games, I think he's done extremely well.
Did he set the team up well for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think he did. I think it showed in the result that he got. They were a bit lucky and fortunate with the chances that Chelsea let slip. But that's football. He went there with a game plan, and his game plan worked.
And also, we sat here this time last week hearing all the reaction after the terrible defeat at the hands of Watford and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer departing the club. I mean, that's hard for any team to have to deal with any of that. So the fact that they've managed to bounce back and get a point against Chelsea, surely that is a real positive for them.
It's massive. I think, like Andy said, to go to obviously in the Champions League and come away with a win, and then to go to the league leaders and be in winning position and possibly could have won the game if not for the penalty, to still come away from there with a point after the couple of weeks they had before that. I think it's a fantastic result, and if the players ain't confident after that, I don't know what else there is possibly that can make them confident.
And let's not forget the headline news coming into this was the fact that Carrick left Ronaldo on the bench, and that was quite a bold move, was it not?
That was a massive move. He did the same midweek as well. Made a couple of changes, left Bruno out midweek. And I think his game plan was obviously play with a false 9, which was Bruno. You can turn around and say he's got more legs than Ronaldo at this stage of his career. And it worked extremely well. It could have been different if Chelsea had taken their chances, which they didn't do, but that's football. So you can only come away with the result you've got. And like I said, he'll be absolutely delighted with it.